everyone, greetings from London. My name is Li Wei. I'm Director and Dean of the Institute of Education at University College London. I'm one of the editors of a new book series by Multilingual Matters called Translanguaging in Theory and Practice. My co-editors are Angel Lin of Simon Fraser University in Vancouver, Canada, Yuanyi Lo of University of Hong Kong, and Saskia van Wiegen of University of York in Canada. The series, Translanguaging in Theory and Practice, aims to publish work that highlights the dynamic use of an individual's linguistic repertoire and challenges the socially and politically defined boundaries of languages and their hierarchies. I'm delighted that the first volume of the series has been published, and it is edited by Margaret Hawkins of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and it's entitled Transmodal Communication, Transpositioning Semiotics and Relations. Now, Maggie is professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Her work focuses on languages, literacies, and learning across classroom, home, and community-based settings in local and global context. She is a recipient of the Leadership Through Research Award from the Second Language Research Special Interest Group of the AERA, American Education Research Association, and the Edwin Zolt Digital Literacy Game Changer Award from the International Literacy Association. Maggie is here with me today to talk about the book. So Maggie, please, can you tell us what the book is all about?
Sure. Thank you, Li Wei. And I'm happy to do that, of course. And hello, everybody. So in applied linguistics, there are researchers, a good number of researchers now probably, focusing on semiotics, or put differently, how meanings are made in communication. And there's now a good bit of work. I'll point to work in multiliteracies and in multimodality that look at communication as an assemblage or a configuration of what Gunther Kress calls signs, or things that carry meaning, which may be words or gestures or colors or anything that people pull together to orchestrate particular communicative events, and they get interpreted in certain ways. And the basis for this is that there are cultural groups that share understandings of what signs and symbols mean, and so they can do this. However, in today's world, with increasing globalization and mobility and reach via technology in particular, where we have more and more people communicating across time and distance and space and diversity, really, groups don't share cultural meanings of signs and symbols. They don't, or any semiotic resources. And so I think we have probably ample evidence that people don't understand each other well in communications, particularly transnationally across the globe, but also locally. And so what the book is it is an international team of researchers working together, trying to understand how meanings are made across diversity, people who don't share contexts and cultures, languages, understandings of signs and symbols. What happens when they're put into communication with one another, which is happening more and more frequently, and what sorts of understandings are they making of one another and whatever it is that they're communicating about. And so the book is an edited volume, and is an effort by various members of this team of researchers together, and in some cases individually, to try to figure out how we can understand how communication across diversity and time and space works.
That's amazing. Thank you, Maggie. So can you tell us a bit more of the contributions, theoretical, conceptual, and methodological contributions the book makes to the field?
Sure. So I already said this is an international research team, and we come together around a particular project, Global Story Bridges, where youth of various ages are communicating with one another across the globe, trying to share. They make videos, they make short videos about their lives and communities, and they share them with one another, and then there's chat space where they can talk about, ask questions or make comments, and have discussions about whatever arises from the videos. So the book makes several contributions. We've been doing this work for a little while now, and there are some conceptual or theoretical contributions, framings, whatever, that have come from it. One of which is transmodalities, which really gets pretty squarely at what I said before, which is it's 5 complexities that when they're put together really get at sort of the semiotic load and functioning of these both local and transnational communications. Transnational ones, of course, are digitally mediated. The local ones are not. And so it covers the gamut. And so transmodalities, which talks about what resources may be involved in the constellation of resources that go into communication, and the role of context and all sorts of things, including, importantly, aspects of equity, social justice, power relations, those kinds of things. That's one thing. Another thing that's come out is the idea of critical cosmopolitanism. So there's a lot of work on cosmopolitanism that has to do with globalization and the ways in which people are, sort of emplaced in mobility and understanding the world, basically, and experiencing the world. And critical cosmopolitanism says that cosmopolitanism can be and is often applied to what Stuart Hall calls cosmopolitanism from above, people who can travel and go to different places and sample cuisines and all of that, but that we're not paying enough attention to, it's following Apaya, but to we're not paying enough attention to human relations within globalization, and the fact that people, cosmopolitanism from below, there are people, immigrants, refugees, others who experience mobility and encountering globalization every day of their lives, but are positioned in such a way that it's not visible, it's not seen, it's not valued. And the ways in which we relate to each other matter. And so that's critical cosmopolitanism. And I think we see ample evidence of that too in the world, with all the stereotypes and biases and certain groups, being positioned as higher and certain as lower. I think we see that in this work as well. And then the third, probably major conceptual contribution so far, is transpositioning. And this is following, Davies and Hooray and others who talk about, Scullin, who talk about positioning, and the fact that in human encounters and communications, we are always attempting to position ourselves, and we are always positioning others. And it's this dance that occurs in every communication. But with mobility, those positionings are fluid, and they are ever changing, and they are a result of the context we're in and who we're communicating with and what's being referred to and drawn on in the communication. And that's important to understand, especially in the interest of equity and social justice. So those are the 3 conceptual contributions. And another really unique thing about the book, which I referred to before, is our international research team. And one of the things about the research team is that while some of us, me and others, actually are faculty and researchers at universities, there are many people involved in the work of the project. Some are facilitators at local project sites, and they may be and all of the project sites are in under-resourced communities around the globe. And so they may be community members, or they may be teachers in local schools, or, people who work for NGOs. And we all come together from different countries, language backgrounds, cultures, contexts, but also different positionings locally in our worlds and, where we are and what we do. And we look at data together, and we think about together, we each have different EMIT perspectives of our own sites and our own contexts and our own youth that we're working with. And we pull all of that together to look across that, to try to understand meanings that are being made and how those meanings are being made and the impact and effect of those meanings. And so I think that those are at least some of the things that the book gets at.
Yes, thank you. The last point I think is a really important one. It is truly a collaborative and participatory research project. And it's also a process of transpositioning in some sense to look at the transmodal communications in that way. So thank you very much for that wonderful introduction and summary and taste to the book, Maggie. I hope you all will find the book really interesting and exciting and inspiring, as I certainly think it is. Please do follow the series, Translanguaging in Theory and Practice. There will be many more exciting volumes to come. And if you're interested in contributing to the series, please get in touch with me through the publisher Multilingual Matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.